difficult because Danny's a big man. Danny's an exceptional fighter. Danny's in a no-lose situation to me, and because he's got the best middleweight in the world and he's the champion in the world, so he's gonna give it all he's got, and whatever happens, happens. If he was fighting somebody less, now Canelo's the one that's got something to lose, not only the belts, but because he's got to look exceptional against Danny to try to prove that he did more to him than Gennady did.
Hey, Gwen, do you feel any type of way about the way the first two fights with Canelo played out and him not being the highest paid athlete? Do you guys feel that you lost out in that at all, like in terms of financially?
I understand John didn't make didn't mention any numbers, but it's not about the numbers. It's about what is entailed in the numbers. Okay, what Gennady got, he's very satisfied with because of how it's structured. I don't know how the other deal is structured. I don't care. As long as Gennady's happy with how this deal was structured, he got everything he wanted. That's what's important. It's not about the total. It's about what's going to be in the...
Fury started the camp up there in the Summit Gym. You got to see him a bit. He sparred your guy. It seems like the numbers were right for him to cross over to ESPN. What do you make of that decision? And based off what you saw in the first fight, you told me you won. Him, now the rematch being in a little bit of limbo, like he's not certain it's going to happen.
It'll happen. It may not happen immediately, but it'll happen because those are the two best heavyweights in the world. Josh was number 3. Those are the two best heavyweights, and they have to fight just to answer the questions. I thought Fury won the first one. A lot of people thought Deontay won the first one, just like Gennady and Canelo. But Fury did spend 2 weeks up there with us in Big Bear. But Fury's the kind of guy that likes a camera in his face, and a microphone, so it was difficult for him to stay up there with nobody there. So, but he's a heck of a fighter, man. A man 6'9", moving like I was so surprised to watch him train. Really, really surprised.
So Abel, you just said that general consensus is that fans felt Gennady won the first fight, Canelo the second. What can we expect?
I didn't say that. I said they're fighting in the losers bracket. I felt we won both fights. If you go back to the 12th round, let's just say we just take the 12th round into consideration. The 12th round, I would say the 9 out of. In fact, they polled ringside that night after the second fight. 48 of the 51 writers that were there said Gennady won. So if you look at the last round, most of them said that we won the round, where 2 judges had it for Canelo. I think that there was a question asked about what we learned about those fights. I think that what I learned was that I think we have to have a rating system, just like they do in the NFL, for the judges and for the referees, so that the best judges work the best fights. And on a rating system, I think that they would have to be more in line, or else they're going to be at the bottom. They're not going to be working any big fights. It can't be where that's my friend and he's going to work a fight. In Vegas, they have rules that the Nevada judges are the ones, or Nevada referees are the ones that do the fights. It took a lot of fighting to change that. It's still not changed. It changed for us for one fight, but I think they need to be rated. So that way, like I said, the best guys work the best fights, like they do in the NFL.
I'm sure there's not a system right now, but did they take into account what kind of judges like what style was best?
No, I think that that would be too selective. I think that if you do a good job in a fight and you're in line with everybody, somebody votes on it, and it's a numbering system. You get numbers and you go up the ladder, and just like the NFL referees and Major League Baseball umpires, they get rated every game, and then the guys that have the highest rating work the best fights. It doesn't matter about the style. They're supposed to be judging not a style, but whoever's winning the fight.
Now that you guys are with the zone, can you guys put more pressure on these committees?
It's not the zone. It's actually the two camps. You know, it's who wants what, and who's more pushy, or who's more selective, or it's negotiations that go along. Not only negotiations for the fight, but negotiations for venue, for referees, for judges. All those things go into play when we're negotiating a fight.
Is Gennady already back in camp?
Yeah, he's been back. He was in camp last Thursday, and not the Thursday before, and he left Wednesday night to come. Last Wednesday night to come to LA to take care of some business, maybe with them. I don't know, and he'll be going back to camp tonight.
He's 37 now. Is there a difference in the way he shakes the time off?
Absolutely. It's up to us. Really, it's up to me to make sure that I take that into consideration. I don't. It's been for 6-7 fights. It's been a change in the way that I work with him. I don't spar him as much as I used to spar him because I need to preserve more of Gennady.
Normally, the strength and conditioning workouts that they do are.
I do that myself, and that doesn't change. That doesn't change because the body can do that. It's the wear and tear from the punches and wear and tear from the sparring that takes its toll on them more than the strength and conditioning. You've seen guys in their 50s do 1,000 push-ups, and so it's that part of it doesn't go part in the ring with the punches.
Are there any changes to his rest cycle?
To his what?
To his rest cycle.
Well, he's got a lot of time off now. What more rest does he need? I need to get him back in the gym.
So what do you do now to keep him sharp? Since now that you're altering the way he will train, less sparring to preserve him longer for these 6 fights, how do you substitute that activity to keep him sharp?
I don't spar him as many days, but what I got to do now is got to be sparring that is better, less rounds but sharper, better guys, sharper guys, guys that are going to give me. Now what I do is I alternate every 2 rounds. That way I get fresh guys in there all the time. So we're getting there quicker. So I only spar him. I think for the last fight, for the last 6-7 fights, we only sparred like 75 to 85 rounds. But it's very intense.
There's a lot of talk about the jump 160, 168, moving back and forth. Is that something that truly interests you?
It interests him because if it's a good fight, if it's a fight like Callum, the young man from England that just won that WSS. That's a great fight. It's a very good fighter. He beat a lot of very good fighters, so that's what motivates these guys. These guys, that's one of the, I say that, I don't mean to speak for him, but that's one of the reasons why Andre retired, Andre Ward, because there was no challenges for him. These guys need mental challenge. They don't need physical challenge. The physical challenges are there. The mental challenge that Callum Smith presents for us is he just won that tournament. That's something that I think people would be interested in.
Aside from a third fight with Canelo, is there another guy out there that you would like in particular for Triple G that you think matches?
Not really. What interests me is to have somebody throw out names that they're interested in. In other words, the zone, the media, the fans. That's what we have to please. Those are the kind of fights we have to do, not just fights.
The armchair quarterbacks after the rematch with Canelo brought up the lack of body punches. Is that going to be something that you're going to bring back with him? Because early on, especially in the Mac fight, we saw him, he was a devastating body puncher, and that was a little bit absent in the rematch. Right? Bring a refocus to that?
It's unfortunate that there's so many geniuses nowadays on the internet, so many reliable sources, Yeah. When a fighter gets in the ring, he sees something that maybe we don't see from the outside. I don't think Canelo threw as many body punches in the Gennady fight as he threw in the Fielding fight. So it all depends on what kind of fight they see in there. All we can do is prepare them for a fight, and they're gonna fight the fight that they see best. We just saw a fight between Porter and Ugas last week. Some people liked it. Then you take the fight right before that, and you saw all kinds of body punching. Okay, so different styles and different situations tend or lend themselves to that. I don't think the body punching was something that lended itself in that particular fight. That's something he saw. What we see from the outside is different.
Is body punching a lost art? Because there's so much focus on the head hunting and the knockout, the spectacular finish. Do you think that fighters are moving away from that type of offensive?
No.
Because it seems a little absent in a number of fights.
I think that some fights don't lend themselves to that. You saw the Bivol fight. Was there a lot of body punching in that? No, because it was a boxing from the outside. In the Santana Ramos fight, there was a lot of body punching, a lot of action. Just some styles lend themselves to that particular type of style of fighting.
There's been a lot of. Oh, sorry.
Part of this
deal is 2 Triple G promotion shows. Who are the fighters? Who are the main fighters that Gennady is sort of guiding this promotional band?
When I said reliable sources, I'll get back to that. There's been so much talk about Tom not being there, about me not being there.
I almost asked that.
Okay,
but I'm like, you know
Tom
what?
Loeffler is at a funeral today.
Right.
Okay. He's at a funeral for a very dear friend of the family, so he could not be here. But in order for Gennady to go forward as a promoter, he has to be out in front. He has to be out negotiating. He has to be out. He has to come back outside of the gym. That's the reason that Gennady was out there doing what he was doing, and everybody thought Tom was no longer there. Gennady from 2010 has never been promoted by anybody. He's always been promoted by GGG Promotions. He's had partners, which in K2 and now the Zone. But Gennady dealt directly with the Zone, didn't deal with any other promoter in the middle. So in order for Gennady to promote after his career or during his career, there has to be a guy that promotes him. That's Tom Loeffler. There's got to be a guy that trains him. That's Abel Sanchez. But it's difficult for us to say anything because there's so much speculation. It's, you know, you start talking and it's BS. So we're looking to sign. We have Akhmedov who fights on the 24th.
Right.
And he will also help young men like Sergey Bogachuk.
What about that guy Madiev?
I don't think he's coming back to our gym.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So Ali
Akhmedov and Sergey Bogachuk right now, and he's looking. Actually, Bogachuk is with Tom Loeffler.
That's 360.
360, yeah. But Gennady will put him on the shows because they train in the same gym. But there's got to, when he starts signing guys, it's going to be guys that have the same work ethic that he does, the same character that he does. Because it's not going to be fun for me just to work with anybody.
So you guys are actively, you're looking to build a roster. It's not
Absolutely.
like you have 7 or 8 fighters right now.
We have 6 fights, Gennady fights, to build that roster. So when he retires, we have a nucleus of guys.
That's interesting.
Is there a new interest now that Gennady does have this platform? And are there a list of prospects that you guys may be looking for?
No. We're looking at guys, but the Olympics are coming up. You know, there's some young guys that are in Kazakhstan that are not getting moved. The talent really doesn't have to be something that everybody knows about. We can always teach. We can always develop. If we have the platform, we can develop. But there's got to be guys that are willing to work like Gennady does. If not, then there's no fun.
Thanks, Abel.
Along with this, will the summit serve as a hub for
yes. Yes. That's why I say it's difficult. It was difficult for us to say anything when everybody was speculating and saying all these crazy things of reliable sources, because until this deal got done and Gennady got what he wanted, that's one of the reasons that he signed with the Zone, because they gave him the opportunity to move his fighters.
Thank you, Abel.
So everyone.